Today is August 3rd. We're less than 3 weeks away from the governor's call special session on red flag laws. This is another installment with our state legislators regarding those issues. My guest today is Senator Jack Johnson. He is the caucus leader for the Republican Party in the Senate. What are your thoughts regarding the need for the special session that Governor Lee has demanded?
Well, the governor has the constitutional authority to call us into special session, and when he does so, it is to be for an extraordinary and a specific purpose. The governor has not issued a formal call, but he has told us that he intends to call us into special session on August 21st. It's important to know that I've participated in a number of special sessions, and typically when we have them, whatever matter we're going in to address has been thoroughly vetted. The legislation to address that matter has been thoroughly vetted by stakeholders, by members of the General Assembly, by specific members of the committees that will hear the legislation to be proposed. And in fact, the special session is largely a formality. We go in for 3 or 4 days. Constitutionally, it takes us 3 days to pass a bill. We go in, address those matters, and we go back home. Now, there are a lot of members that are working on various ideas, various proposals. But I will tell you, I've not seen anything yet that I feel rises to the level of satisfying the criteria we typically use for a special session. Now, we're less than 3 weeks away from the date that the governor has set. So there's time for members to potentially get legislation in order and have it circulated and have an opportunity to pass it. I frankly think that most of the things that are being contemplated could wait until January when we go into our regularly scheduled session. But if the governor issues the call, we are constitutionally required to be there, and I will be there.
At this time, what are your thoughts regarding the red flag law or extreme risk protection order that Governor Lee is seeking, which allows government to seize firearms from individuals who presently can legally own and possess them?
Well, I have a long record of opposing red flag laws, always have and always will. I do not think that government should have the authority or the ability to dispossess someone of the constitutional right, any constitutional right. In this case, we're talking about the Second Amendment right, when they haven't committed a crime. Interestingly, the widely respected RAND Corporation, which is a nonpartisan think tank, has done extensive analysis on states that have passed various versions of a red flag law, order of protection, ERPO, whatever you wish to call it. And they have found no discernible evidence that there was any reduction in violent crime, gun-related crime in those states that have passed those laws. So I deem them to be ineffective. What's even more concerning in light of the recent Bruin decision, I think that red flag laws are constitutionally suspect at best, blatantly unconstitutional at worst. And so I think we need to wait and see what's going to happen with the courts. Some red flag laws or variations of them that have been passed in other states are being challenged under the new Bruin ruling. And so I think we need to wait. I don't think we need to be spending time on things that are ineffective and potentially probably unconstitutional. That's why I've always opposed red flag laws, and I always will. I think we have better opportunities as a state to address violence.
What alternatives to a red flag or ERPO law do you think should be considered by the legislature?
I think it's important to first look at what we've already done, and we've done a lot, specifically regarding school safety, which is what has generated this conversation. In this most recent session of the General Assembly, we appropriated a record amount of money, over $230 million, to go towards school resource officers in every public school, and to make money available for private schools that wish to draw that money down and use it for school resource officers. We've also included in that legislation was placing a full-time Tennessee Homeland Security agent in all 95 counties to work with local law enforcement, to work with schools, to work with other stakeholders to try to make those communities safer. So we've done a lot. I also think that we need to continue to focus on mental health and access to mental health treatment. We've done a lot in that area. We've appropriated a lot of money to go towards access to mental health, but I think there's more we can do. Most people would agree that we have a mental health crisis in our state and in our nation. And almost to a case, when you look at these instances of mass violence, the perpetrator, we later find out, is in almost every case, is suffering from some degree of mental illness. So if we really want to attack the crime, I think we need to attack it from making mental health treatment available as widely as possible. And in those very severe cases where someone is in a mental health crisis, they need to be removed from their community. They don't need to just be separated from one means of perpetrating that violence. They need to be removed from their community. And there are laws on the books right now that allow for that. And you also, anytime we're talking about gun control, we need to think about what are we doing to increase the penalties on those who are committing these crimes. The vast majority of gun-related crimes in Tennessee are committed with guns that are stolen. So no amount of gun control or restriction on law-abiding citizens' ability to exercise their Second Amendment rights is going to stop someone who breaks into a car or someplace else and steals a weapon. So we need to stiffen the penalties on those who are committing crimes with guns and are stealing guns. And the last thing I'll say about that, which is equally as important, we need to make sure that those district attorneys in those areas where you have some of the highest violent crime are prosecuting these people and throwing them in jail for a very, very long time. So these are some things that I think will be meaningful, impactful, they will withstand judicial scrutiny, and they will make our community safer.
You have any other thoughts on these issues that I did not address in the previous questions?
Well, I'd just like to say, I think we can all agree that regardless of how you feel about some of the issues we've discussed in this interview, that we all want to make our communities safer. And so we need to come together as a community, as a state, and have reasonable, respectful conversations about the best way to do that. And I'm committed to doing that, whether it's in the upcoming special session or as we prepare for our regular session in January.
Senator, I really appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule. I think it's important that our membership get an opportunity to see the thoughts of those folks who actually have skin in the game and power to affect all this. So I appreciate you coming on, and hopefully at some point after the special session, we'll have an opportunity to talk about what the results of that were. So thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
If you learned something today that was beneficial, hit the like and subscribe button. It helps to get our message out and sell the brand. Check back for more content as often as you can. You can find our website at www.tennesseefirearms.com. If you are new there, click the subscribe button on that page as well to receive free email updates about issues that affect your Second Amendment rights in Tennessee.